delivering the news that you need. This is ONU3 TV, live at 5.
Hello and welcome to 3TV News on the web. I'm John Hartley.
And I'm Lauren Ratliff. Thanks for watching.
It was a night to remember, celebrate, and act as the campus of ONU welcomed a special guest to campus last Thursday.
ONU3 TV's Cam Keir was at the speech and joins us with the details.
It was a night of humor, reflection,
We had assemblies, they had open discussion forums. Sometimes they have to stop.
and inspiration.
Today, to act, to celebrate a day on and not a day off.
As Ohio Northern University welcomed Coach Herman Boone to campus to speak about Martin Luther King Day. Coach Boone is best known as Denzel Washington's real-life counterpart as the coach of the Titans from T.C. Williams High School. It was the work of Coach Boone that inspired the blockbuster film Remember the Titans, where Denzel Washington starred as Coach Boone, who struggled to overcome racism and integration at T.C. Williams High School. ONU professor Dr. Eva McManus was a student at T.C. Williams in the late 60s and opened the evening with a few words about what the school was like after the integration. Then, it was time for the main event. Speaking to a standing room only crowd, Coach Boone took the stage to give his inspirational address titled Remember, Celebrate, Act. Clyde Pickett, Director of Multicultural Development, says it's his hope that Coach Boone was able to inspire the campus in a positive way.
It planted some seeds for folks to think and head in the right direction to discuss those topics and become motivated. Obviously, that's an individual choice, but all we can do for those of us who address those issues is to plant the seeds and hope we really spark the interest of developing individuals.
Some students seemed so inspired that they were seen taking notes during Coach Boone's presentation. After his formal speech, the coach left plenty of time for students to have a chance to ask questions, many of which were about the film Remember the Titans. Although it's movies like Remember the Titans that will inspire audiences nationwide, it's speeches like Herman Boone's that can inspire an entire generation. Reporting from the English Chapel here on the campus of ONU, Cam Keir, 3TV News.
Students had the opportunity to voice their concerns to President Baker in an informal question and answer session. Kimberly Davis has the story on Monday night's Coffee House with President Baker.
Coffee House, brought to you by the Student Senate, gives ONU students the opportunity to talk one-on-one with President Baker. Coffee House is held in the Macintosh Lounge once a quarter and lets President Baker go one-on-one with ONU students. He addresses their concerns, answers their questions, and opens channels for communication between students and the administration. Student Senate hosted the event and provided hot beverages and cookies for students who are hungry for answers. President Baker discussed a range of topics, from the salt shortage to renovating old buildings to attending class in extremely cold weather.
Oh, I think we talked about a lot of different kinds of things, and I think things that were of considerable interest to the students. Certainly the cold weather issue was an important one, and I was pleased that the students raised the question, and I had the opportunity to explain how we make those decisions, and also to point out that we didn't do a very good job with the courtesy van announcement and so on. So I think that was certainly beneficial. The discussion about buildings and master planning and why we do different things with different buildings, Clark Hall, those were all, I thought, very good topics and worthy of a good conversation. So I enjoyed the opportunity to talk about those as well.
These coffee house sessions are not a foreign concept to Dr. Baker.
I've been doing these now at two different universities. That was the University of North Dakota. I don't know whether other universities do it or not, but I've always thought that it was really a very valuable opportunity, both for the president and for the students.
And in spite of having a touch of the sore throat, both President Baker and the student body alike appreciate having these one-on-one coffee talks. For ONU3 TV News, I'm Kimberly Davis.
Cautious, conservative, yet confident. That's the stance the university is taking after projecting enrollment will be down for next school year. ONU3 TV's Ben Roselieb has a story on why less students may be on campus next fall.
At this point, we're being conservative, we're being cautious.
That's Dean of Enrollment Karen Condeni, as she says the number of students attending Ohio Northern isn't expected to increase for the first time in years. But that's because ONU is operating at capacity this school year, with over 3,700 students, the most students ever enrolled. Don't expect a huge drop in numbers, though.
The enrollment could be about 50 to 80 students different than it was this fall.
With enrollment on a whole projected to be down for next school year, expect this pharmacy lecture hall to be filled with students, as many programs like pharmacy will be running at max capacity.
We also have a few other majors that were at capacity, and the College of Law is also controlling the size of their new class coming in.
Condeni thinks that one of the reasons as many students won't be here next year is because of a topic that's all too familiar with Americans today.
What is happening with the economy right now? I don't think it's any secret, you know, that the country's in an economic downturn.
But what exactly does that mean in terms of recruiting more students? Associate Professor of Economics Kazuhisa Matsuda says this means more students are in need of grants and loans and may not be able to get the funding necessary to attend a private institution like ONU.
The large corporations like General Electric, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, they cannot borrow money, you know. The point is, if those large corporations cannot borrow money, who else can?
But he borrows from President Obama, saying the economy will turn around sooner or later.
As Barack Obama said in his inauguration speech, hope over fear.
On this day, we gather because we have chosen hope over fear.
So there's absolutely no question U.S. economy will recover from this recession.
Ben Roselieb, 3 TV News.
The teams are set for the Super Bowl and preparations are in full swing, especially last week right here in Ada, Ohio. With how Ada plays a part in the Super Bowl, here is Franklin Freitag.
Starting Sunday, January 18th, after the AFC Championship game, the Wilson Football Factory went to work making all the footballs for Super Bowl 43. The leather for the footballs is genuine American leather. The balls are cut and separated into groups of 4 panels before being stamped. The stamping is done with bronze and black, and the balls then go and receive a vinyl lining so they do not come apart in the game. The next step is sewing the ball together. The ball is sewn in halves before being sewed together as a whole. Since the ball is sewn on the inside, the ball has to be turned inside out. It is steamed beforehand to make it easier to manipulate. The balls then have a bladder inserted into them and laced by hand before being inflated. The balls are inflated 2 at a time inside a mold about 13 pounds per square inch. This process takes about 1 minute. The balls are then sorted and inspected and sent to the NFL after being weighed and measured to be used for the Super Bowl. Dan Riegel, the plant manager at the Wilson Football Factory, says the process of making a football takes longer than you may think.
Okay, to make one football in our production cycle takes about 5 days from the time the leather's cut till the time the ball is packed and shipped out. So we kind of run on a 5-day cycle. You could actually make a ball in a couple hours if you just walk the thing straight through, but that's not efficient, as you know, running a factory. Without Wilson, the game would be pointless.
The Wilson Football Factory here in Ada, Ohio has made every Super Bowl football since Super Bowl I, and they make over 700,000 footballs per year. So if you're watching the game this Super Bowl Sunday, keep your eye out for that little piece of Ada. Franklin Freitag, 3TV News.
For Amanda Cribley and John Hartley, I'm Lauren Ratliff. Thanks for watching 3TV News on the web.